You ever had someone threaten to tow your boat off your own dock on land your family's owned since 1947? Because that's how my week started. Lorraine Ashford, president of the HOA, stomping onto my property at 7 a.m. in a business suit flanked by 3 board members with clipboards acting like she owned not just my dock but the entire lake. She points a finger at my jet ski and says, "You've got 72 hours to remove it or we'll have it towed." I nearly spit out my coffee. It was so absurd. Meanwhile, her precious sailing club's been squatting on my marina for 6 years, never paid a dime. That's the kind of hypocrisy that just makes you laugh if you don't let it make you angry first. Let me back up a sec. That morning, everything started out like it always did at Freedom Lake, quiet, peaceful. Just the sun rising through the pines and the water catching the first light mist floating over everything, like it was blessing the day. I was sitting on the dock my grandfather Ezra built bare feet on wood, worn smooth by 3 generations of family. Coffee in hand, feeling like this place was protected by something more than law, something like legacy. And then Lorraine arrived, heels clicking, perfume slicing through the pine air, clutching a clipboard probably worth more than my old Chevy. She skipped small talk, went right into her performance. Cited HOA Resolution 47B noise ordinances, watercraft restrictions, community standards, all that bureaucratic fluff that sounds official, but never survives a good look in the daylight. She read off a paper, said my Yamaha jet ski, which I use maybe twice a month, violated some sound restriction, was a nuisance to property values, and lacked proper community authorization. I had 72 hours to get rid of it, or she'd bring appropriate legal action. I didn't argue, didn't even raise my voice. I just looked down, watched her reflection in the water, wobbly, insubstantial, just like her claim to authority. Ezra used to say water reflects things exactly as they are, and so does good legal paper. I thought about that sitting there, how the water didn't lie about what Lorraine was. She was powerful, yeah, but only as long as nobody pushed back. After they left her and the 3 board members trying hard not to make eye contact, I just finished my coffee and tried to remember what peace felt like. Later that day, I found an official pink notice taped to my workshop door, HOA seal case number, Lorraine's signature. It read like a script from a play I hadn't auditioned for, whereas pursuant to, in accordance with. All those phrases meant to scare folks into rolling over. Thing is, most people would roll over. But most people don't have what I've got, a rusted metal box in the workshop untouched since the week after Ezra's funeral. Inside plastic sleeves protect the history of this land, deeds older than the HOA, a hand-drawn map, and a letter from Ezra himself. If anyone ever tells you they own this lake, show them this paper. That was my ace. I just didn't know how soon I'd need to play it. Next morning, I drove to the county library. Yeah, a library, because the internet doesn't have everything, and Mrs. Patterson at the desk knows where all the real secrets are kept. She handed me a fat folder of HOA documents, maps, records. I cross-checked everything under those cold fluorescent lights. HOA boundaries stopped short of my marina by about 2 acres. My land, my dock, all outside their reach. They'd just gotten used to nobody checking. I copied every page, thanked Mrs. Patterson, who gave me a look like she'd seen this story play out before. Then I stopped by Fletcher Harlow's place. Old friend of Ezra's, retired Coast Guard, lived just down the shore. He'd been getting Lorraine's letters for months about his dock, his firewood pile, his eyesore pickup. Always something. He'd ignored them, didn't want the fight. But when I showed him the county maps, something changed in his eyes. Maybe hope, maybe just relief at not being alone. He asked what I'd do. I told him nothing for now. Let Lorraine keep climbing up her pile of fake power. The higher she gets, the harder the fall. 72 hours came and went. My jet ski stayed where it was, bobbing gentle as always. Then the real show started. Lorraine sent a community-wide email painting me as a public menace, deliberately defying standards, creating safety hazards. She even attached a photo of my jet ski, urging neighbors to stand together. I saved every word, every screenshot. Silence. I figured was my best weapon. Give her enough rope, she'd tie her own noose. A couple days later, she called a mandatory emergency safety meeting at the community center. The parking lot was packed, folks looking at me like I was contagious. Lorraine got up with her slides, gave a speech about shared values, then put up a picture of my marina with danger in red letters. She invited community questions. A woman in the 3rd row asked how long my family had owned the land and why this was suddenly an issue. Lorraine said length of violation doesn't make it legal. Good answer if you've never read a property deed. I stood up, portfolio in hand, told them my Marina's been here since 1947, well before any HOA existed, showed them the county map, explained about the Army Corps permit, said I'd provide copies to anyone who wanted proof. That's when 2 Coast Guard officers walked in. Yeah, real uniforms, medals and all. Lorraine practically beamed. The senior officer said they'd received a report about an unregistered jet ski. He checked his clipboard, then turned to the crowd. This vessel is fully registered, compliant, no violations. Then turning to Lorraine, he added, filing false reports with the Coast Guard is a federal offense. We'll be documenting this. And just like that, the whole room went silent. Lorraine had nothing to say. I sat down, packed up my papers. The meeting dissolved, no vote, no action, just a lot of embarrassed folks filing out. The story rippled across the lake by sunrise, neighbors waving at me, boats circling the marina like they were celebrating a small revolution. But Lorraine didn't quit. She fired off a giant post in the online group, now claiming I was running an illegal business, evading taxes, putting everyone at risk. She doubled down, hashtags and all. The community wasn't buying it this time. Most of the comments backed me up or questioned her story. Someone even posted the federal permit number. My lawyer, who'd been quietly watching, left a firm comment. Any further defamation will be addressed legally. Lorraine deleted her post after 4 hours, but screenshots never die. By then, other neighbors started coming forward. Retired teachers, fined for paint colors, folks told to cut down 100-year-old oaks, chicken coops, lowering property values. Always letters, always threats. Nobody had ever checked the rules. Now they started. I told everyone, get your deeds, check your boundaries, read the actual covenant, not just what Lorraine says. People started pushing back. But I wanted real satisfaction, not just for me. See, Lorraine's precious sailing club, the one she chaired, had been docking their boats on my property for years. When my lawyer looked into it, turned out their lease was with a company that hadn't existed for ages. No fees paid, no paperwork. Pure trespass. So I waited till things cooled down, then sent a certified letter, 30 days to remove all boats or they'd be impounded, posted it at the community center just to make it public. Now the whole game was exposed. Within days, most of the club packed up and left, except Lorraine and her VP. They tried to fight, called a special meeting, claimed I was being vindictive. But when other members found out they'd been paying dues for phantom marina fees, it all fell apart. After the deadline, I called the sheriff. He checked my documents, gave them till morning. Lorraine's boat, Lady Justice. Yeah, you can't make that up, pulled out just before sunset. No eye contact, no apology. The community gathered to watch, not cheering, just witnessing justice. Of course, Lorraine tried one last move, filed for an emergency injunction, claimed retaliation, hardship, whatever. Judge Brennan heard the case, packed courthouse, neighbors filling every seat. Lorraine's lawyer argued prescriptive easement and hardship. My lawyer presented deed survey permits, everything. Judge read through it all, then ruled Bridger Family Trust is the clear owner. No lease exists. Notice was more than adequate. Injunction denied. And that authority on paper means nothing if the actual paper says otherwise. HOA leadership collapsed. Lorraine resigned, VP quit. New president Fletcher Harlow. First order of business. Rewrite the bylaws, strip out any rules beyond what the law allows. No more fines for paint color, no more bogus demands, no more intimidation. People shared stories, got their fines refunded, and the sailing club had to ask nicely if they wanted to use my dock again. Me. I figured it was time for a bigger gesture. Turn the marina into a community trust. Anyone could dock their boat. Pay a tiny maintenance fee. Help keep things running. Just like Ezra wanted waterfront access for regular people, not just yacht clubs and paper pushers. First dock day, a crowd showed up, tools, sandwiches, kids underfoot, folks laughing, swapping stories, fixing what had been neglected for years. Lorraine, she moved away. Heard she's working for another HOA somewhere. Maybe she learned something, maybe not. But around here, things changed. Conversations happened on the docks, not behind closed doors. Neighbors waved, helped taught each other's kids to fish. Rules gave way to stewardship, to trust earned the hard way. And I realized victory isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just seeing the lake reflected back without distortion, knowing you did right by your family, your neighbors, and the memory of people who built something worth fighting for. So let me ask you, when authority gets out of hand, who really owns the water? The one with the loudest voice or the one with the deeds, the patience and the truth on their side? Drop your thoughts below, share your stories of standing up to power, and if you believe in community over control, go ahead, hit that like. Because out here, Freedom Lake is free again. And so am I.